Welcome back to Elder Wolf MTG, everybody. Glad that you are with us. We're going to do some pack openings. I actually spent 20,000 gold. I am looking to construct a couple of standard decks, and I need a few more wild cards, and don't have the time in this current couple of weeks to do some drafting, so I am just going to be opening some packs. And because of that, I have two golden packs, as you can see, so let's jump right in and see what we get. Okay, first golden pack. Let's go Virtue of Courage. Yeah, enchantment. Whenever a source that you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you may exile that many cards from the top of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Yeah, it's a good one. 5 mana. Probably more for like in limited. You would definitely be tempted to take this first pick and just go hard red. Especially with like the blue-red spells deck, could be very, very good. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Seeing lots of play in standard. 5/5 flying death touch, and then whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Very, very strong card. Lots of combos on the life gain, lost life decks that are out there. Bondsbane Troll, 4 mana 4/4. When it enters, create a monster roll token attached to it, and the monster is the +1/+1 and has trample, so it basically is a 5/5 trample for 4. And then for 1 mana at instant speed, you can sacrifice an aura attached to this troll, and then it fights a target creature you don't control, and it gets exiled if it would die. So very versatile, very good card if you were in limited for Wilds of Eldraine. Bomori Vault, haven't seen this one before. Add a colorless. Pay 3 and tap it and discard a card, and you look at the top X, where X is the number of artifacts you control, and put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom. So it's a artifact cycler or digger upper. So yeah, I mean, I don't think in limited I would be taking this first at all, but in constructed can be very powerful. The Forager, 2 mana 2/2 ramper. And then you can tap it in Forage to add 2 mana any combo of colors, and then 4 mana and tap it to search your library for a squirrel card. So very versatile mana ramper. Yeah, good one. If you were limited in that and you saw that pack 1 pick 1, I would probably pick it up. And the good old Rune Scarred Demon, 6/6 flyer for 7, and when it enters, search your library for a card and put it in your hand. Very powerful, limited. Probably would pick this up first pick. It's a win condition on its own, but it also allows you to search for any card that you have, which is very powerful. Yeah, you would probably want to play one of these in your deck for sure. All right, next golden pack. Let's see what we have. Virtue of Knowledge. This is a great one. Copy an activated or triggered ability that you control, and then if a permanent entering causes a triggered ability to trigger, you trigger it an additional time. So very good, very powerful effect. I would pick this up. Pack 1, pick 1 for sure. Zimone. This is the 1/4 for 4 at the beginning of combat. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, which is very good. And then for 2 mana, and tapping Zimone, you can double the number of each kind of counter on up to 2 target creatures or artifacts that you control. Yeah, very powerful card. Seeing constructed play right now. Karavek is very good. 3 mana 3/3, and whenever you commit a crime, you exile up to 1 target black card. Not even a non-creature spell, just a card, and you copy it. And you can cast the copy. If you do, you lose 2 life. Incredibly powerful card. In limited, almost just a flat-out bomb. So I would definitely pick that up in a limited event. Enigma Jewel, the 1 mana artifact, enters tapped. It adds 2 colorless. You can only spend it for activated abilities, and then you can craft it with 4 or more non-lands with activated abilities for 9 mana, and then it has every activated ability of the exiled cards used to craft it, and you may activate each of those abilities once each turn. And whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, you copy it. So basically, if you have this on its flip side and you built your deck correctly, you're going to win the game. Lots of combos here, but 9 mana is a lot, and this is definitely more for constructed play. The Belligerent, the 4 mana 5/5 vehicle. When it attacks, create a treasure token, and until end of turn, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play lands and cast spells. So super good value. It's a crew 3, which is nice, so you can put a 3 power creature out on turn 3 or 4, and then put this out on turn 4 and crew it pretty quickly. So yeah, very good vehicle. I would probably pick it up. actually in limited for Lost Caverns. And Lathril is an absolute bomb, especially if you can get the elf synergy. It's not impossible to do in Foundations limited, but it is not the easiest either. Depends on what cards are coming your way. But if you can get this with some elf tribal type stuff, Lathril can just absolutely go off for sure. So very good card to pick up. All right, those are the gold packs. So let's do some Foundations. Valkyrie's Call, very powerful effect. 5 mana enchantment, and whenever a non-token non-angel you dies, you return it to the battlefield as an angel with a 1/1 counter on it, and it has flying. If they can't get rid of this and you start trading creatures, then you're just going to win the game. So in limited, pick this up. Constructed, it can see some play, though constructed 5 mana is not the cheapest, and it actually doesn't do anything when you put it out by itself, so you have to have other things happen. So that in like it can be like exile effects and stuff, just this doesn't do anything. So in limited though, this is a very, very powerful card. All right, let's go to the next one. The Tiny Bones, we've seen this one before. The 2 mana 1/3, whenever an opponent discards a card, exile it from their graveyard with a stash counter, and during your turn you may play cards you don't own with stash counters from exile and spend any mana of any type to cast those cards. And then for 4 mana you can at sorcerer speed cause them to discard a card. Yeah, it's a really good effect. And limited, it's cheap, it's a good cheap 2-drop, and then over the course of a game this can take over a game, so it's very worthy of a first pick, I think, in limited for sure. Funny enough, on Hidetsugu's second right, I actually lost to this in a standard match the other day because I had 10 life exactly, and I just was absolutely not expecting it whatsoever. One of those things that if you can pull it off, I'm sure it feels amazing, but having exactly 10 life and having this in your hand is another thing altogether. But yeah, if it works, I mean, it works. But it's an interesting one to try to pull off. Maybe you would not want to run more than one of these in a limited deck for sure. All right, let's do another pack. Raise the Past. Yeah, really good one. Lots of constructed play on this one. In limited, not so much. I mean, you can make it work, clearly, but you've got to really build around it. And yeah, it's tough to do this in limited because you need some decent cards that have enter the battlefield effects at 2 or less and kind of overwhelm your opponent. But in constructed, this is an absolutely amazing one that can do lots of cool things. Time Stop, 6 mana in the turn. It can be a really good one for sure, and yeah, it can basically grant you an additional turn where your opponent just doesn't do anything. So that's an interesting aspect of it. I would not be picking this in limited whatsoever, but in constructed you can do some pretty cool shenanigans, I think. Electro Duplicate, 3 mana sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has a haste, and at the beginning of your end step, you sacrifice it. So it's this super aggressive play with creatures that, you know, really have an effect that you want, like Menace or something like that. I don't think I'd pack one, pick one, but if you're in red and you're like Boros or some form of aggro, this could be a good, nice filler. Not filler, it's better than filler, but it's got to be in the right deck. So I don't know if I'd pack one, pick one unless there's absolutely nothing else, but it can be a good one. Like between these two, I would probably go with the Gourmand in Foundations because Gourmand is just such an amazing card, but this is a good one for aggressive decks. Curator of Destiny, 6 mana 5/5. It cannot be countered. It's a win condition in and of itself, and when it enters, look at the top 5. Separate them into face down and face up. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand. So it's just super card advantage in a win condition. Yeah, definitely worthy of a first pick for sure. I absolutely would pick that up. The Blasphemous Edict. I've played with this in limited. It is a bomb. It can really just save you in so many ways. It's a board wipe, but you can also pay 1 and then still do something if the board is really, really clogged. So yeah, I would definitely pick this up. Pack one, pick one. The Flamewake Phoenix 3-mana 2/2 flying haste. It attacks every combat if able, and at the beginning of your combat, if you control a creature with 4 or greater, you can pay a mountain, and if you do, you return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So the Phoenixes always come back in some way, no different. I mean, super great for aggressive. If you like aggressive red and you want to pack one, pick one this and force red, you want something like this in your hand. That is for sure. So go for it if that's your thing. I do like going aggro from time to time. There's our Runescar Demon. We talked about that. Interesting that I just now have my first Dwynen. Let's go to the next one. Brass's Bounty. Yeah, that's for constructed. Each land you control create a treasure. That's for like artifact synergy effects, but not unlimited. You would not pick this up limited whatsoever. You'd pick like something like Perforating Artist is a really great winner. Felidar Savior. Yeah. Not that red card, that's for sure. The Highway Trickster, 4-mana 4/2 flash, flying, which is great, and you may cast spells as though they had flash. It's a really good one. I would definitely pick this one up for sure. Balmor is also a great limited. You can make some really cool decks with Balmor. Don't sleep on this one. Balmor is very, very good. Burst Lightning is also very, very good. That's a man. Could have all 3 of these in the same deck would be absolutely amazing. But it doesn't happen when they come in the same pack. Another Brass's Bounty. Well, that's a little bit disappointing, actually. Hopefully I'll stop getting Brass's Bounties. Get something a little bit better. Well, wild card. I will take that. What do we have next? Sphinx of Forgotten Horror, 4-mana 3/3 flying flash, and whenever it attacks, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback into end of the turn. Yeah, very good one. In limited, this is an absolute bomb. You definitely, flash it in at the end of your opponent's turn, and then it attacks the next turn. Hopefully they don't have a flyer or a blocker, and then you get an instant or sorcery back. So very, very good card. Pick that up. Snap pick that one if you see that first in a limited event. Arabo is really good. 3-mana 2/2 other cats. That's the Lord for other cats, and whenever it or another non-token cat enters, you create a token. Very good to go wide. Yeah, I would pick this up. Pack one, pick one for sure. Really good card. There's lots of cats and foundations. Not too terribly hard to pull that off. Like there's Prideful Parent as an example. Okay, wild card for the rare, which is great. And Swiftblade. Probably wouldn't do this. Pack one, pick one. I put you in 2 colors right out of the gate, and you need some other ways to pump it to make it worth it. But it is a very powerful card. Don't get me. You need other ways to pump it up, and if you can do that, it can be phenomenal. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would go down that road. Pack one, pick one. Depends on what's in the pack. It is a good card. Don't get me wrong. It just locks you into 2 colors right out of the gate. Sire 7 Deaths. Yeah, limited, you definitely get this. I mean, it's got all the keywords, and Ward is pay 7 life and all the things. So yeah, excellent. If you cast this, they have to get rid of it pretty much. And it just doesn't have Death Touch. That's about the only thing. Or flying. Needs flying. But yeah, it's got a lot on it. It's a good one. All right, 2 more left. Ghalta. I have played with this, and I have lost against this several times. I mean, it's just a bomb. And, with green, you're going to get some more beefy creatures. You can usually play this for 4 mana or less and a 12/12 trample. You just got to deal with it. So it's definitely a bomb. Pick it up if you get it. It's likely to win you the game. I've lost games straight up to Ghalta before. There's nothing I could have done about it with my board state. And another Lathril. Very nice. Yeah, Lethril's really, really good, as I said before. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm going to go get my standard decks set up, but I actually may record one here in the near future. But those are some packs. If you enjoy seeing the openings, yeah, please like, subscribe. That helps me out quite a bit. But we'll come back with some more content in the very near future. Until next time.